Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. The updated and expanded second edition of my book, The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments, is now available. Readers can expect to march with Arnie's Army at the 1960 U.S. Open, relive Jack Nicklaus's remarkable 1986 Masters win, and be amazed by the Tiger Slam. The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments. Pick it up where fine books are sold, including BarnesandNoble.com and Amazon.com.
This day in sports history. A proud member of the Sports History Podcast Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sports. Learn more and find additional podcasts at sportshistorynetwork.com. It's June 26th, and on this day in 1996, Kobe Bryant was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets. Sure, you thought Kobe spent his entire career as a Los Angeles Laker, but he started out, ever so briefly, as a Hornet. Kobe was taken with the 13th pick out of Lower Merion High School in Philadelphia. At the time, high school players were a bit of an unknown commodity. It had been done before, obviously, and to great success in some cases. Moses Malone was the first, and he had an outstanding career. In the 95 draft, Kevin Garnett had been selected straight out of high school and had a good rookie season. But did a high school kid have the physicality and the maturity to compete in an 82-game NBA season? The answer was yes, but it was still a bigger crapshoot than taking a guy who had played college ball for 4 years. Bryant was surprised to be taken by the Hornets since he had never worked out for them. Charlotte was a 41-win team in 96. Alonzo Mourning was traded to Miami, getting Glenn Rice in the deal. They had the aging Robert Parrish and the pedestrian Matt Geiger in the middle. They needed help on the inside. And that's when the Lakers came into the mix. LA's GM Jerry West really wanted to bring Shaquille O'Neal to the Lakers, but they had Vlade Divac plugging that spot at the moment. West cleared out the middle by offering up Divac for Bryant in a straight-up deal. It seemed like a good solution to the Hornets' big man problems, and so they pulled the trigger on it. The trade was made on the 26th, but was not finalized until July 11th. That also freed up LA to make a move with Orlando to bring Shaq Diesel to the West Coast later in the month. Divac turned out to be a pretty good addition for the Hornets, and he helped the Bugs win 50 games in back-to-back seasons. But there is that lingering what-if question, right? What if the Hornets had seen the potential in Kobe? What might have been, and how different would the NBA landscape have turned out to be if Kobe had stayed in Charlotte? Also on this day, another franchise and NBA-defining draft pick was made when the Cleveland Cavaliers selected LeBron James with the first pick in the 2003 NBA draft. Not much to really say about this one that you don't really know. James would transform the Cavaliers in his time there, leading them to the franchise's first appearance in the NBA Finals in 2007, but they were swept by the San Antonio Spurs in 4 games. He left for Miami in 2010, interestingly enough, combining with the 4th and 5th picks of the 03 draft, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. And then they went on to win back-to-back NBA titles in 2012 and 2013. And of course, James came back to Cleveland and he led the Cavs to the 2016 NBA title before moving on to the Lakers and becoming the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. Just 2 years and 2 days removed from when Detroit's Jim Northrup did it, on this day in 1970, Baltimore Oriole Frank Robinson belted 2 grand slams in the same game, and like Northrup, Robinson hit his grand slams in back-to-back innings, hitting his first one in the 5th and then the encore in the 6th inning. The script in the 6th was the same as it had been in the 5th, with Dave McNally walking, Don Buford picking up a single, and then Paul Blair walking to load the bases for Robinson to hit his home run. Interesting thing, though, Robinson was in severe pain. The day before, he had hurt his back in an extra inning game with Boston, making a game-saving catch in the 13th. When he came to bat in the 14th, he couldn't even swing the bat, and he had to bunt instead. He was only able to play on this day after taking pain-killing injections between innings. At the time, Robinson was just the 6th major leaguer to hit a pair of slams in the same game. It's only been done 13 times in the history of Major League Baseball. On this day in 1959, it was a shocking upset in the boxing ring. It was heavyweight champ Floyd Patterson stepping in against the Swede Ingemarr Johansson for the first of what would be 3 fights between these two. Patterson was a heavy favorite, but in the lead-up to the fight, Johansson kept telling anybody who would listen with a microphone or a pen and pad that his right hand was powerful and he was going to drop it on Patterson's head with the power of Thor's hammer. It took only a few minutes for Johansson's prognostication to come true. Fighting in front of 30,000 at Yankee Stadium, the two boxers felt each other out in the first 2 rounds, but in the third, Patterson oddly dropped his guard, and Johansson dropped Patterson. What happened next was a bit like an old, scratched record. Johansson delivered a shot, Patterson hit the mat. Patterson regained his feet to the cheers of the partisan Yankee Stadium crowd. Johansson delivered a shot, Patterson hit the mat. Rinse and repeat. Johansson knocked Patterson to the canvas 7 times in the third round before the referee stepped in to stop the fight. Johansson became just the 3rd European to win the heavyweight title and the first since Primo Carnera 26 years earlier. These two again would meet in the ring 2 more times, with Patterson avenging his loss in this one a year later and then defending that title in 1961. And on this day in 1982, Bob Gilder hit the most famous golf shot you've never heard about. There are shots that have become part of golf lore and are talked about consistently, like Gene Sarazen's double eagle at Augusta National, Jack's putt at the '86 Masters, Hogan's 1-iron shot at the 1950 U.S. Open. But how about Gilder's double eagle at the manufacturer's Hanover Westchester Classic? Well, it happened in the 3rd round of the tournament. Gilder was playing the par 5 18th hole and had 251 yards to the cup after his tee shot. His shot landed on the green, hopped 3 times, and dropped into the cup for a 2 on the par 5 hole. The crowd around the green erupted in cheers, but Gilder couldn't see what happened. Even the crowd reaction didn't give him the confirmation that he thought he should be getting. He said later that a shot he'd hit on the 9th was absolutely beautiful, coming to rest 10 feet from the pin, but did not draw a single clap from the gallery. His double eagle to close out his round gave him a 6-shot lead heading into the final round, and he won the next day by 5 shots for one of his 6 PGA Tour wins. And time now for today's non-sports Did You Know? It cannot be completely substantiated, but it is believed there are more tigers in captivity in the state of Texas than exist in the wild. That's not exactly a good thing, but it is kind of interesting when you think about it. That's all for today. I'll have more tomorrow on This Dish. This Day in Sports History is a member of the Sports History Podcast Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sports. Learn more and find additional podcasts at sportshistorynetwork.com. This has been an original Thrive Suite production.
Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, a.k.a. the Football History Dude. And I hope that you enjoyed this recent episode presented by the Sports History Network and were able to learn some good old-fashioned sports history knowledge nuggets. I started the Sports History Network back in 2020 with the mission to help podcasters find a community of like-minded sports history nerds, as well as helping aspiring podcasters to start their own shows. We have a little bit over 30 shows on the network right now covering all sorts of sports history, but as far as I'm concerned, we're just at the toothpick in the ocean moment, that can't even figure it out because there's so much more coming. We wanted to create the ultimate headquarters for sports yesteryear, starting with Podcast Network and our website, but we're going to continue to move into other mediums as well. And here's the cool part, because we want you to be part of our team. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or maybe being a guest on one of our shows, or who knows, maybe even writing an article for us over on the website. Seriously, all you gotta do is reach out to us on the contact page over at sportshistorynetwork.com. You can be as technologically savvy as a Neanderthal tapping on a stone trying to figure out this whole hieroglyphics thing back in the day. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you don't understand the whole podcast space, we have a production team that can pretty much help you out with doing everything. All you gotta do, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com, head to the contact page, fill it out. That message goes right to me, and I'll reach out to you as soon as I can. But for now, dude, I'm through if you're through.